Hello again, everyone. Marcus here. I review stuff. Today, I'm reviewing the song If You're Feeling Sinister by Belle and Sebastian from the album If You're Feeling Sinister of the same name. So this is part of my ongoing series where I am listening to songs from albums on Rolling Stone's list of the 500 greatest albums of all time. As I mentioned last time, this album comes in at 481 on their list. And last time I kind of read this little summary of the album of their review. I do want to read the Wikipedia article, and then we're just going to jump right into the song. So, If You're Feeling Sinister is the second album by the Scottish indie pop band Belle and Sebastian. It was released in 1996 on Jeepster Records in the United Kingdom, and in 1997 by Matador Records in the United States. Okay, that's interesting. So, two different releases here. It is often ranked among the best albums of the 1990s, and as we can see here, it made the top 500 list. So, the band leader Stuart Murdoch said, "If You're Feeling Sinister is probably the best collection of songs." In 2000, is probably his best collection of songs. In 2005, Belle and Sebastian released a live version, "If You're Feeling Sinister," live at the Barbican. Cool. All right. So again, highly acclaimed. Obviously, it's on this top 500 albums list, as subjective as a list as it might be, but also just by many considered one of the best albums of the 90s. And so, kind of getting a little bit more context here as we're listening to it. So let's jump right in. Again, the song is "If You're Feeling Sinister" from the album of the same name by Belle and Sebastian. Let's do it.
Anthony walked to his death because he thought he'd never feel this way again. If he goes back to the house, then things would go from bad to worse. What could he do? He wants to remember things exactly as he left them on that funny day. And if there is something else beyond, he isn't scared, because it's bound to be less boring than today. Bound to be less boring than tomorrow. Hillary went to her death because she couldn't think of anything to say. Everybody thought that she was boring, so they never listened anyway. Nobody was really saying anything of interest. She fell asleep. She was into S&M and Bible studies, not everyone's cup of tea, she would admit to me. A cup of tea she would admit to no one. A cup of tea she would admit to me. A cup of tea she would admit to no one. Hillary went to the Catholic Church because she wanted information. The vicar or whatever took her to one side and gave her confirmation. St. Teresa's calling her, the church up on the hill is looking lovely. But it didn't interest, the only thing she wants to know is how, why, and when and where to go. How, why, and when and where to follow. How, why, and when and where to go. how and why and when and where to follow. But if you are feeling sinister, go off and see a minister. He'll try in vain to take away the pain of being a hopeless unbeliever. La 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 la. When she got back, her spirituality was thrown into confusion. So she got a special deal on renting from the manic rediffusion. Look at me, I'm on TV, it makes up for the shortcomings of being poor. Now I'm in a million pieces picked up for deliberation by the people listening at home. By the people watching on the telly, by the people listening at home, by the people watching on the telly. But if you are feeling sinister, go off and see a minister. He'll try in vain to take away the pain of being a hopeless unbeliever. La 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 la. La 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 la. But if you are feeling sinister, go off and see a minister. The chances are you'll probably feel better if you stay in place with yourself.
Yeah, man, I really like that. To me, it was very reminiscent of, I think, what a lot of this sort of indie pop would become in just a few years, right? This was released in like 1996, and I feel like in the 2000s, maybe even the early 2010s, like I sort of hear a lot of songs that kind of mimic this style. So I'm curious to know what bands out there that Belle and Sebastian have inspired, because yeah, this sounded almost ahead of its time, right? Because again, I'm thinking like a lot of 2000s, 2010s, like sort of indie pop got a lot of its influence from this sound. And I mean, unless Belle and Sebastian got their influence from somewhere else as well. I mean, I'm sure, at this point in time, everything is influenced by everything else, right? But yeah, I can see how this has led to. This sounds very familiar to stuff that like my wife listens to, right? She's really into kind of indie pop music. I don't even know how to categorize this properly, honestly, acoustic pop or what have you, but I know she doesn't really listen to Belle and Sebastian, so to me, this is like a precursor of what would later become the kind of music that she really enjoys. So, yeah, it's interesting. I like the song a whole lot. So let's break it down piece by piece like we always do, of course, starting with the lyrics. So let's see. I thought the lyrics were really interesting, and they're sort of telling this story that I really want to dig deeper into. So Anthony walked to his death because he thought he'd never feel this way again. If he goes back to the house, then things would go from bad to worse. What could he do? He wants to remember things exactly as he left them on that funny day. And if there is something else beyond, he isn't scared because it's bound to be less boring than today. Bound to be less boring than tomorrow. So yeah, sounds like someone who is maybe dealing with depression, dealing with maybe a rough home life, and then chooses to take their own life, and they figure whatever's after this life is, it's got to be better than what we're going through right now. Hillary went to her death because she couldn't think of anything to say. Everybody thought that she was boring, so they never listened anyway. Nobody was really saying anything of interest. She fell asleep. She was into S&M and Bible studies, not everyone's cup of tea. She would admit to me her cup of tea. She would admit to no one her cup of tea. She would admit to me her cup of tea. She would admit to no one. So yeah, I mean, it sounds like this person, they feel sort of outcast, right? Their interests are a little bit different than everyone else's. To the point where, maybe there's bullying involved. I don't know. But again, another person who maybe chose to take their life because of that. I'm going to click on this and just kind of see what this commenter says. S&M is a reference to sadism and masochism, which is the practice of using pain as a sexual stimulant. This, in combination with Bible studies, are seen as somewhat oxymoronic. All right, cool. I did not need you to tell me that, but Appreciate it anyway for those uninitiated. Let's see, verse 3. Hillary went. Okay, so wait, who was the person in this verse? Remind myself. Hillary. So it's Anthony, Hillary, and then back to Hillary. Hillary went to the Catholic Church because she wanted information. The vicar or whatever took her to one side and gave her confirmation. Saint Teresa's calling her. The church up on the hill is looking lovely, but it didn't interest. The only thing she wants to know is how and why and when and where to go, how and why and when and where to follow, how and why and when and where to go, how and why and when and where to follow. So I'm wondering if Hillary maybe didn't take her life. She was considering it perhaps, but maybe found solace in the church. That, or maybe this took place before she took her life, again, looking for those answers, and the church wasn't able to provide them. I'm not too sure here kind of what they're saying. So, and then we get into the chorus, which I thought was really interesting lyrically as well. But if you're feeling sinister, go off and see a minister. He'll try in vain to take away the pain of being a hopeless unbeliever. La 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 la. When she got back, her spirituality was thrown into confusion. So she got a special deal on renting from the man at Rediffusion. I don't know what the hell Rediffusion is. Maybe this will tell me. Rediffusion was an early form of cable television in Britain. That's why I don't know about it. Usually referred to as piped. The television set and equipment for receiving the signal were rented from Rediffusion at a weekly fee. As more people wanted colored sets, it became a popular way of getting a new television within a family budget. Kind of like a rent-to-own type thing, I guess, or just a rental, renting TV essentially. So she got a special deal on renting, okay, that makes sense, from the man at Rediffusion. Look at me, I'm on TV. It makes up for the shortcomings of being poor. Now I'm in a million pieces. Interesting. I'm wondering, again, I wonder if when she got back her spirituality. So again, it sounds like maybe Hillary took her life. Before she did, she went to the church looking for answers, right? Didn't really find what she was looking for. So when she got back from the church, her spirituality was thrown into confusion. Really didn't come out with any more answers than she went in with. So she got a special deal on renting from the man at Rediffusion. Look at me, I'm on TV. It makes up for the shortcomings of being poor. Now I'm in a million pieces. I'm going to click here. I just want to see what this person has to say about it. Look at me, I'm on TV is a line spoken by the character Mike TV in Roald Dahl's 1964 novel Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. In the book and movie adaptations, Mike TV becomes obsessed with the chance to be transmitted via Wonka vision, and is transmitted across the ceiling in a million tiny pieces before rematerializing in a nearby television set. All right, makes sense. That makes more sense. Picked up for deliberation by the people listening at home, by the people watching on the telly, by the people listening at home, by the people watching on the telly. But if you are feeling sinister, go off and see a minister. He'll try in vain to take away the pain of being a hopeless unbeliever. And I'm curious about what the chorus is really getting at here, right? Because it says, if you're feeling sinister, if you're feeling kind of down, dark, evil, what have you, go off and see a minister. But it's like the minister's not going to help you, though. He'll try in vain to take away the pain of being a hopeless unbeliever. So is it sort of a condemnation of religion, of Catholicism, perhaps, of organized religion? I'm honestly not too sure. That's what I'm trying to read into it. I'm just like, I have no idea what really he's trying to drive home here. But if you're feeling sinister, go off and see a minister. The chances are you'll probably feel better if you stayed and played with yourself. So yeah, I think that kind of makes it a little bit more clear, where it's just like, yeah, religion's not going to help you. It's not going to help you in these sort of situations. While the act of confession in the Catholic Church absolved one of their sins, the song suggests that one might get more satisfaction and feelings of relief from foregoing the trip to the church and playing with yourself, a reference, of course, to masturbation. This line is also a testimony to Stu Murdoch's unselfishness as a songwriter. Murdoch describes himself as a Christian with a lowercase c, but is more than willing to voice opinions that are not his own. Here, the pointlessness of religion in improving personal crisis, or are the opinions of other band members. So, to me, I kind of, as a former Catholic, I kind of get what he's saying here, right? Where, you see your minister, you confess to your sins, you say 10 Hail Marys and 3 Our Fathers, and you go on with your day. All sins are forgiven. And that is apparently supposed to make you feel elated or relieved. But in the end, it's just like you still have to live with the sort of weight and guilt and whatever of your everyday life, I mean, for some people, it's like, oh, I'm forgiven. This is great. For other people, it's just like, well, that doesn't really do it for me, right? My problems are still real problems. my issues, my guilt, they're still very real for me. So I kind of get what he's sort of poking the bear here, right? He's saying, like, I mean, if not necessarily forgiveness, but honestly, forgiveness. If closure, if things like that are what you're looking for, the church necessarily can't provide that for you. You're better off trying something else. So, the lyrics here were really interesting. I really had a great time kind of diving into them, learning a little bit more, and really kind of forming that my own opinion and idea on it. So, really enjoyed the lyrics here. Really well written, a lot of really great lines. So I'm giving it 2 big thumbs up for lyricism. As far as instrumentation and vocals go, really liked his voice again here. I feel like in Stars of Track and Field, which is the first song I ever heard from Belle and Sebastian, I was like, yeah, his voice is okay. I kind of like it. But then in the last song we heard from them, Get Me Away From Here, I'm Dying, I really liked his voice. I was like, yeah, this is very sweet sounding, very excellent. It just sounds great. Whereas in this song, I was like, yeah, like his voice sounds good. So I feel like I'm gathering an appreciation for his voice for each song I listen to. Really liked his voice here. Really liked the instrumentation. Very simple, kind of mostly that guitar that working its way throughout the song. A little bit of bass or bass throughout. And I think we even got some, what was it, horns or keys. I'm honestly forgetting. I have to go back and listen to the song. Take a quick look at the credits here. Not too much here, but yeah, really enjoyed the instrumentation. Very stripped down, kind of simple. Same with the vocals, but really really good delivery vocally. Again, very reminiscent of, I think, what would become a lot of that sort of indie pop. I don't know if indie pop is the right phrase for it. Emo, something. I mean, it sounds to me, it sounds very familiar to me in a sense that I'm like, I can maybe show you equivalent songs of what this reminds me of, but Belle and Sebastian essentially did it first or did it before these bands. So again, I'm wondering how much influence they really had on a lot of these bands moving forward. But regardless, I really enjoyed this instrumentally and vocally. I'm giving it 2 big thumbs up. As far as replay value goes, yeah, this is going to make the playlist. It's interesting lyrically. It's really simple but nice sounding, both vocally and instrumentally, and it's a cool song. So I'm giving it 2 big thumbs up for replay value. It's going to make the playlist. We're definitely going to listen to it again, and I had a great time listening to it. So can't wait to hear it on the playlist again. Overall, a great song. Really had a great time with Belle and Sebastian. Again, Stars of Track and Field didn't really grab me the way I wanted it to when I first heard it, but now hearing a couple more songs from them, they're really starting to grow on me a bit, and this is an album I definitely want to finish at some point in time, so we'll get back to, to it, in the future. So, yeah, that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed the music. As always, if you did, go support the artists, go listen to their music wherever you can, and if you enjoyed the video or if you're enjoying this series, you can help out the channel by liking, subscribing, commenting with your requests specifically. You can also check the description to follow me on Twitch, Twitter, or TikTok, and turn on notifications. All the stuff that you do, for your favorite YouTube channel. I'm sure I'm amongst them. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye for now.